Hello, English learners. How are you? I'm so glad you're here today, and I warmly welcome you to Progressive English Learning. Remember, learning English is like building a bridge to new opportunities. Every lesson makes you stronger and more confident. So stay consistent, keep practicing, and never stop believing in yourself. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to my channel Progressive English Learning so you never miss a new lesson. And yes, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Now, in today's video, we are going to practice very practical and useful English conversations on the topic: at the hotel, checking in, room service, asking for facilities, and making polite complaints. These are real-life situations you'll definitely face while traveling, so let's learn them step by step together. Alright, let's continue and dive right in. After a long flight, John arrived at the hotel, eager to settle in. He approached the front desk and greeted the receptionist with a warm smile. "Good afternoon," he said. "I have a reservation under the name John Smith." The receptionist checked the computer screen and confirmed, "Yes, Mr. Smith, we have your reservation. May I see your ID and a credit card for incidentals?" John handed over his documents, and the receptionist continued, "Your room is on the 3rd floor. Here's your key card. Breakfast is served from 6:30 to 9 a.m. in the dining room." John thanked her and proceeded to the elevator. Upon entering his room, he noticed the bed was neatly made, the curtains were drawn, and the room smelled fresh. He placed his suitcase on the bed and unpacked his clothes into the wardrobe. After settling in, he realized he hadn't had lunch and decided to order room service. He picked up the phone and dialed the number for in-room dining. "Good evening," a voice answered. "How may I assist you?" "I'd like to order dinner," John replied. "Certainly, sir. What would you like to have?" the voice responded. John glanced at the menu and said, "I'll have the grilled chicken with mashed potatoes and a glass of red wine." "Excellent choice," the voice said. "Your order will be delivered shortly. Is there anything else I can assist you with?" "No, that will be all. Thank you," John said before hanging up. As he waited, he explored the room's amenities. He found a mini-fridge stocked with beverages, a flat-screen TV mounted on the wall, and a desk with a comfortable chair. The bathroom was clean, with fluffy towels and complimentary toiletries. The doorbell rang, signaling the arrival of his meal. John opened the door to find a hotel staff member holding a tray with his dinner. "Your meal, sir," the staff member said with a smile. John thanked him and took the tray inside. He enjoyed his meal while watching a movie on the TV. Later that evening, he realized he had forgotten to ask about the gym's location. He picked up the phone and dialed the front desk. "Good evening," the receptionist answered. "How may I assist you?" "Hi, this is John Smith in room 305. Could you tell me where the gym is located?" John asked. "Certainly, sir," the receptionist replied. "The gym is on the 2nd floor, near the elevator. It's open 24 hours for your convenience." "Thank you," John said before hanging up. The next morning, John woke up early and decided to visit the gym. He changed into his workout clothes and headed downstairs. Upon entering the gym, he was pleased to find modern equipment and a clean environment. He spent an hour exercising before returning to his room to shower and get ready for the day. After breakfast, John decided to explore the hotel's facilities. He visited the spa, where he inquired about available treatments. The receptionist informed him of various packages and recommended a 60-minute massage. John booked an appointment for later in the afternoon. He then visited the concierge desk to ask about local attractions. The concierge provided him with brochures and suggested a city tour. John thanked him and made a note to consider the tour during his stay. In the evening, John returned to his room to relax. He noticed the air conditioning wasn't working properly. It was too warm despite being set to a lower temperature. He picked up the phone and called the front desk. "Good evening," the receptionist answered. "How may I assist you?" "Hi, this is John Smith in room 305. I'm having an issue with the air conditioning. It's not cooling the room adequately," John explained. "I apologize for the inconvenience, sir," the receptionist said. "I'll send maintenance up immediately to check on it." Within 15 minutes, a maintenance technician arrived at John's room. "Good evening, sir," the technician greeted. "I'm here to inspect the air conditioning unit." He examined the system and found that the filter was clogged. After cleaning it, he tested the unit and confirmed it was working properly. "Thank you for your patience," the technician said before leaving. The room quickly cooled down, and John was able to rest comfortably. The next day, John decided to check out the hotel's pool. He changed into his swimwear and headed to the pool area. The pool was clean, with lounge chairs and umbrellas available. John spent some time swimming and relaxing by the poolside. Later, he returned to his room to pack his belongings. As he was checking out, he approached the front desk. "Good morning," the receptionist greeted him. "How was your stay?" "It was wonderful, thank you," John replied. "I enjoyed the amenities and the staff was very helpful." "We're glad to hear that," the receptionist said. "I hope you choose to stay with us again in the future." John smiled and thanked her before leaving the hotel, satisfied with his experience. As John left the hotel, he felt happy with his stay, but he also knew that in his travels he would visit many more hotels and experience different kinds of services, so he wanted to practice how to communicate politely with hotel staff wherever he went, and he imagined another visit to a new hotel in another city, where the lobby was large, with shining floors, soft background music, and a welcoming fragrance of fresh flowers, and as he approached the front desk, the receptionist smiled warmly and said, "Welcome, sir, how can I help you today?" And John politely replied, "Good afternoon, I have a reservation under John Smith," and the receptionist asked for his ID and credit card, and John provided them with a smile, and after checking the system, the receptionist said, "Yes, Mr. Smith, your reservation is confirmed, you'll be staying with us for 3 nights, and your room is a deluxe double on the 5th floor, here's your key card, and please let us know if you need any assistance." And John thanked her politely and went towards the elevator, noticing how the lobby had comfortable sofas where other guests were waiting, a small coffee station, and travel brochures displayed neatly, and as he reached his room, he opened the door to find a spacious and bright interior, with a large bed, a writing desk, a window overlooking the city, and a kettle with complimentary tea and coffee, and he thought to himself how important it was to ask politely if he needed more amenities, so he picked up the phone and called the housekeeping line, saying, "Good afternoon, this is John Smith in room 512, could I please have an extra set of towels and a couple of more tea bags?" And the staff member replied, "Of course, sir, we'll deliver them right away," and within 10 minutes a polite staff member knocked on his door, handed him the towels and tea, and smiled, saying, "Here you go, sir, is there anything else you'd like?" And John responded, "No, thank you so much, that's perfect," and he gave a small tip as appreciation, and later he realized he wanted to try the hotel restaurant, so he went downstairs and asked the receptionist, "Excuse me, could you please tell me where the restaurant is located?" And the receptionist answered kindly, "Yes, sir, it's just across the lobby, on the left side, open until 10 p.m. So John went in, looked at the menu, and enjoyed a delicious meal, and after dinner he returned to his room, but on the way he thought about how sometimes guests need to make polite complaints, and he imagined a situation where perhaps the television was not working, so he practiced the words in his mind. "Good evening, this is John Smith in room 512, my television does not seem to be working. Could you please send someone to assist me?" And he thought how polite language makes staff more willing to help. And soon enough he actually discovered that the remote control battery was weak, so he called the front desk and used the same polite words, and the staff quickly came and replaced the batteries with a smile, saying, "Sorry for the inconvenience, sir," and John replied, "Not at all, thank you so much for your quick help." And this little experience reminded him that every hotel stay teaches a traveler how to be patient, polite, and clear in communication, and the next morning he woke up early and decided to try the breakfast buffet, where he greeted the server politely, saying, "Good morning, may I sit here?" And the server smiled and showed him to a table, and John enjoyed bread, eggs, fruits, and juice, while noticing how other guests also asked for coffee refills politely, saying things like, "Excuse me, could I please have another cup of coffee?" And the staff always responded with a smile. And later in the day John thought about using the laundry service, so he called housekeeping again and said, "Hello, could you please tell me how to arrange laundry service?" And the staff explained that there was a bag in the closet where he could place clothes and a form to fill, and John thanked them for the instructions and arranged his laundry, and when it was collected, the staff member said, "Your clothes will be returned tomorrow by 5 p.m., and John replied, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate it," and he continued to feel comfortable, and in the afternoon he visited the swimming pool, asking politely at the front desk first, "Excuse me, where is the swimming pool located?" And the receptionist guided him with clear directions, and he spent some time swimming and then ordered a drink from the pool bar, saying, "Could I please have an orange juice?" And the bartender responded happily, and later that evening John found that the Wi-Fi was slow in his room, so he called the front desk and said, "Good evening, I'm sorry to bother you, but the Wi-Fi in my room seems a little slow. Is there any way to fix it?" And the receptionist replied, "I apologize for the inconvenience, sir. I'll reset the router for your floor, it should work better in a few minutes." And indeed after a short wait the connection improved, and John was thankful, and the next day he had a small issue with the shower water not being hot enough, so again he called politely, "Good morning. This is John Smith in room 512, the shower water is not very hot. Could you please send someone to check?" And within 15 minutes a technician arrived, fixed the problem, and apologized, and John replied warmly, "Thank you so much, I really appreciate the quick service." And after these experiences he realized how important it is for travelers to always stay calm and polite, because hotels are busy places but the staff always try to help, and after 3 days it was finally time for him to check out, so he packed his bags, went to the front desk, and said, "Good morning, I'd like to check out please." And the receptionist asked, "Did you take anything from the minibar?" And John replied honestly, "Yes, I had 1 bottle of water," and the receptionist added it to his bill, handed him the receipt, and said, "Thank you for staying with us, we hope to welcome you again," and John replied with a smile, "Thank you for everything, I really enjoyed my stay." And as he left he thought about how every stage of a hotel stay involves different conversations, from check-in to facilities, to complaints, to room service, and finally check-out, and each stage is a chance to practice useful and polite English. and he imagined himself arriving at another hotel in another country, repeating the same cycle but with new experiences, greeting staff warmly, asking questions politely, requesting services with kind words, and making sure to always say thank you and show appreciation, because these small gestures build respect and make hotel stays smoother, and in his heart he knew that his future travels would be filled with many more such experiences where he could practice English, connect with people, and enjoy comfortable stays, and so he looked forward to his next hotel adventure with confidence and a smile. After leaving the previous hotel, John traveled to another city, and once again he found himself standing in the grand lobby of a new hotel where the atmosphere was busy yet welcoming. The chandeliers shone brightly, the bellboys were helping guests with luggage, and the faint sound of a piano could be heard in the background. And as he walked up to the reception desk, he greeted the receptionist politely, saying, "Good afternoon, I have a reservation under the name John Smith," and the receptionist smiled and said, "Welcome back, Mr. Smith. May I see your identification and credit card, please?" And John handed them over with a smile while thinking how every check-in felt like the beginning of a new story. And once the receptionist confirmed his reservation, she said, "Your room is ready on the 8th floor. Here is your key card. Breakfast is served from 6:30 to 10, and if you need anything please dial 0, and John replied, "Thank you so much," before moving towards the elevator while admiring the paintings that decorated the hallway. And as he entered his room he noticed how beautifully decorated it was, with fresh flowers on the table, a large bed with white sheets, a flat-screen television, and a balcony overlooking the park, and he immediately felt at home and decided to freshen up before exploring the hotel. So he went into the bathroom where he found soft towels, a hairdryer, and a full set of complimentary toiletries, and after his shower he called the front desk saying, "Hello, this is John Smith in room 803. Could I please know the timing of the fitness center?" And the receptionist replied, "The gym is open 24 hours, sir, located on the 4th floor next to the spa." And John said, "Thank you very much," and later when he felt hungry he thought of ordering food from room service, so he picked up the menu from the bedside table, dialed the number, and said, "Good evening, I would like to order dinner please," and the staff member responded, "Certainly sir, may I take your order?" And John replied, "I'll have the vegetable soup to start, followed by grilled salmon with steamed vegetables and a bottle of sparkling water," and the staff member said, "Thank you sir, your order will arrive in about 30 minutes, and John thanked them and waited, and soon the doorbell rang and a polite waiter brought the tray arranged beautifully with his meal, saying, "Here is your dinner sir," and John smiled and said, "Thank you very much, this looks wonderful," and after enjoying his meal he watched a little television, but then he noticed the volume control was not responding properly, so he called the front desk politely saying, "Hello, this is John Smith in room 803. I'm having a small problem with the television remote. Could you please send someone to check it?" And the receptionist immediately replied, "I'm so sorry for the inconvenience, sir. We will send a technician right away." And within 10 minutes a technician arrived, fixed the remote, and asked, "Is everything working fine now sir?" And John smiled and said, "Yes, thank you so much for your quick assistance," and the technician wished him a pleasant evening and left. And John once again realized how important it is to explain issues politely and calmly, because the staff are always willing to help. And the next morning he decided to have breakfast in the restaurant instead of his room, so he went down, greeted the hostess with a smile, and said, "Good morning, may I please have a table for one?" And the hostess replied, "Of course sir, please follow me," and she led him to a comfortable corner table where he enjoyed a wide buffet with fresh fruits, pastries and coffee, and as he finished he thanked the staff warmly, saying everything was delicious, thank you. And later that afternoon he wanted to know if the hotel had a business center, so he called the concierge saying, "Hello, could you please tell me if there is a business center with computers and printers available?" And the concierge replied, "Yes sir, on the 2nd floor, open until 10 p.m. And John said, "Thank you very much. I will visit later, and indeed he went and used the printer to print some travel documents, and before leaving he thanked the staff for their help, and afterwards he returned to his room and decided to try the spa, so he called and said, "Hello, could I please book a massage appointment for this evening?" And the spa receptionist replied, "Certainly sir, we have a slot at 6 p.m. would you like that?" And John confirmed, "Yes please," and when he arrived at the spa later he was welcomed, kindly offered a glass of water and taken to a peaceful room where he enjoyed a relaxing massage, and afterwards he felt refreshed and grateful, and he thanked the therapist warmly, saying, "That was wonderful, thank you very much." And later that night when he returned to his room he noticed that the air conditioning was blowing too cold and he could not adjust it, so he again called the front desk politely saying, "Good evening, I'm sorry to trouble you, this is John Smith in room 803, the air conditioning seems too cold and I cannot change the setting, could you please assist?" And the receptionist replied, "I'm very sorry for the inconvenience, so we will send an engineer right away." And within 15 minutes a staff member came, adjusted the system and explained the controls, and John thanked him saying, "That's perfect, thank you for explaining," and the staff member smiled and wished him a comfortable night, and John realized again that polite communication always brings quick solutions, and the next day he decided to ask about sightseeing options, so he went to the concierge desk and said, "Good morning, could you please recommend a city tour?" And the concierge smiled, handed him brochures and explained different packages, and John said, "Thank you, this is very helpful, I'll choose one for tomorrow." And as he walked back he thought about how useful it is to practice phrases like "Could you please tell me," "Could I have," and "Thank you very much," because they are always appreciated in hotels. And after a few days, when it was time to leave, he packed his bags carefully and went to the reception saying, "Good morning, I would like to check out." And the receptionist asked, "Did you enjoy your stay, sir?" And John replied, "Yes, very much, the staff were wonderful and everything was comfortable, thank you." And she smiled and completed the process, gave him his receipt and said, "We hope to welcome you again, so have a safe journey." And John replied, "Thank you, I look forward to returning someday." And with that he left the hotel with a smile, feeling confident that with every new stay he was practicing and improving his polite English skills while also enjoying the experience of being a respectful guest, and he knew that many more hotels awaited him in future journeys where he would continue to greet the staff kindly, request services, politely order room service with gentle words, make complaints calmly, check out smoothly, and always remember to say thank you with sincerity. After leaving the last hotel, John traveled by train to another destination, and when he arrived he once again booked himself into a comfortable hotel because he enjoyed practicing the routine of checking in, ordering room service, asking questions politely, and making sure every part of the stay became a lesson in communication. And as he stepped into the lobby of this new hotel, he noticed the calm lighting, the soft background music, and the friendly staff at the counter ready to assist guests, and when his turn came he approached the receptionist with a smile saying, "Good afternoon, I have a reservation under John Smith." And the receptionist replied, "Welcome Mr. Smith, may I please see your identification and credit card?" And John handed them politely, and the receptionist confirmed his booking and said, "You will be staying with us for 4 nights in a superior double room on the 6th floor. Here is your key card, and breakfast is served from 7 to 10 each morning." And John thanked her warmly and asked, "Could you please also let me know if late checkout is available?" And she replied, "Yes sir, subject to availability we can allow checkout until 2 p.m. without extra charge." And John smiled and said, "Thank you very much, that will be very helpful." And then he followed the bellboy who carried his luggage to the elevator, and when he entered his room he saw that it was spacious with a king-size bed, a large wardrobe, a minibar, a writing desk, and a balcony that opened to a beautiful view of the mountains. And after placing his things he wanted to check whether there was a kettle for tea and coffee, so he opened the cupboard and found one, but without extra sugar packets, so he called housekeeping saying, "Hello, this is John Smith in room 610, could you please send a few extra sugar packets?" And within a short while a polite staff member knocked at his door and delivered them with a smile saying, "Here you go, sir," and John thanked him sincerely. And later in the evening John felt hungry and wanted to try ordering room service again, so he called and said, "Good evening, I would like to order dinner," and the staff member replied, "Certainly sir, what would you like tonight?" And John answered, "I'll have the tomato soup followed by pasta with vegetables and a bottle of still water please," and the staff member said, "Thank you sir, your order will be delivered in 30 minutes, and John replied, "Thank you very much." And soon the meal arrived and the waiter set it nicely on the table, and John said, "Thank you so much, this looks delicious." And after finishing the meal John noticed that the bedside lamp was not switching on, so he called the reception politely saying, "Good evening, I'm sorry to trouble you, this is John Smith in room 610. The bedside lamp seems not to be working, could you please send someone to check it?" And the receptionist replied, "I'm very sorry for the inconvenience, so we will send maintenance right away." And in 10 minutes a technician came, checked the lamp, replaced the bulb, and asked, "Is it working fine now sir?" And John smiled and replied, "Yes, perfectly, thank you so much for your quick help." And the technician wished him a pleasant evening before leaving, and John realized once again how using polite words makes every interaction smooth and easy. And the next morning John decided to go down to the breakfast buffet, and as he entered he greeted the hostess saying, "Good morning, may I please have a table for one?" And she smiled and guided him to a window seat, and he enjoyed fresh bread, eggs, fruit and coffee. And when the waiter came around he politely asked, "Excuse me, could I please have another glass of orange juice?" And the waiter replied, "Of course sir," and soon returned with a full glass, and John smiled and said, "Thank you very much." And afterwards he decided to ask about the laundry service, so he called housekeeping saying, "Hello, could you please explain how to arrange laundry pickup?" And the staff replied, "Yes sir, there is a laundry bag and form inside your wardrobe, please place your clothes and fill the form and our staff will collect it." And John said, "Thank you very much," and arranged his clothes, and soon they were collected with a smile and assurance that they would be returned the next day. And in the afternoon he visited the pool area, but before that he went to the front desk and asked politely, "Excuse me, could you please tell me where the swimming pool is located?" And the receptionist replied, "It is on the 3rd floor next to the fitness center." And John thanked her and went to enjoy a relaxing swim, and after returning to his room he called the spa to book a massage saying, "Hello, could I please book a massage appointment for this evening?" And the staff replied, "Yes sir, we have availability at 6 p.m. Would you like us to reserve that for you?" And John said, "Yes please, thank you very much." And later he went to the spa where he was greeted warmly, offered water and guided to a peaceful room for the massage, and afterwards he thanked the therapist sincerely saying, "That was wonderful, thank you so much." And later that night he found the air conditioning was again too cold and not adjusting properly, so he called reception politely saying, "Good evening, I'm sorry to bother you, this is John Smith in room 610. The air conditioning feels too cold and I cannot change the setting, could you please send someone to help?" And the receptionist replied, "We apologize for the inconvenience sir, we will send our engineer right away." And within a short time the engineer came, adjusted the unit, explained the settings and made sure John was comfortable, and John said, "Thank you for your kind help, I appreciate it." And afterwards he slept peacefully, and the next day he decided to ask the concierge about sightseeing and said, "Good morning, could you please recommend some nearby attractions?" And the concierge handed him brochures, explained the highlights, and even offered to book a half-day city tour, and John thanked him warmly saying, "That's very kind of you, thank you." And later when he returned he thought about ordering coffee to his room, and so he called room service and said, "Hello, could I please have one cappuccino delivered to room 610?" And within minutes the coffee arrived hot and fresh, and John thanked the server saying, "Perfect, thank you very much." And once again he felt that every simple interaction was a chance to use polite English and to practice words like "could you please," "may And thank you. And finally, when his stay ended, he packed his bags carefully, went to the front desk and said, "Good morning, I would like to check out please." And the receptionist asked, "Did you enjoy your stay, sir?" And John replied, "Yes, it was wonderful. The staff were very helpful and the facilities were excellent, thank you." And she smiled and gave him his bill, asked if he had taken anything from the minibar, and he replied honestly, "Yes, just 2 bottles of water," and she added them to the bill. And then she said, "Thank you for staying with us, so we hope to welcome you again soon." And John replied, "Thank you very much, I will definitely return." And with that he left the hotel once more, feeling satisfied with his stay and confident that he was practicing polite and useful English every step of the way, and looking forward to his next hotel adventure, where he could continue the same cycle of polite check-in, asking for facilities, ordering food, making small complaints, politely enjoying services, and finally checking out with gratitude. After leaving the previous hotel, John took a short flight to another destination, and as soon as he arrived he felt excited to check into yet another hotel, because by now every stay was like a learning experience where he practiced polite greetings, useful requests and calm complaints. And as he stepped into the lobby of this new hotel, he noticed the marble floors, the large chandeliers, and the friendly receptionist who welcomed every guest with a smile. And when it was his turn, John approached the counter and said politely, "Good afternoon, I have a reservation under John Smith." And the receptionist replied, "Welcome, Mr. Smith, may I please see your identification and credit card?" And John handed them over politely, while noticing how important it was to always begin with a smile and kind words. And after confirming the booking, the receptionist said, "Your room is ready, sir, on the 10th floor. It is a deluxe king with a balcony overlooking the sea. Here are your key cards, and the breakfast is served from 6:30 to 10 o'clock each morning." And John thanked her warmly, saying, "Thank you very much. Could you also please let me know if there is a shuttle service to the airport?" And the receptionist replied, "Yes, sir, we have an airport shuttle every hour. Please let us know your departure time and we will reserve a seat for you." And John smiled and said, "Perfect, thank you very much." And then he followed the bellboy who carried his luggage to the elevator, and once in the room he was pleased to find a large bed, soft pillows, a writing desk, a minibar, and a balcony with a beautiful ocean view. And after settling down he checked the bathroom, where he found fresh towels, complimentary toiletries, and a hairdryer. And he decided to make a polite request, so he called housekeeping, saying, "Hello, this is John Smith in room 1008. Could I please have an extra pillow and a couple of bottles of water?" And the staff member replied, "Of course, sir, we will deliver them right away." And within 10 minutes a polite staff member knocked at the door, delivered the items with a smile, and said, "Here you go, sir. Is there anything else I can help you with?" And John replied, "No, thank you very much, this is perfect." And later in the evening John looked at the room service menu and decided to order dinner, so he dialed the number and said, "Good evening, I would like to order dinner, please." And the staff member said, "Certainly, sir, may I take your order?" And John replied, "I'll have the Caesar salad followed by grilled fish with vegetables and a glass of lemonade, please." And the staff member said, "Thank you, sir, your order will arrive shortly." And John said, "Thank you very much." And about half an hour later the bell rang and a waiter arrived with the tray neatly arranged, and he said, "Here is your dinner, sir." And John replied, "Thank you very much, this looks excellent." And after enjoying his meal, John watched television, but soon noticed the Wi-Fi connection was very slow, so he called the front desk politely, saying, "Good evening, I'm sorry to bother you, this is John Smith in room 1008. The Wi-Fi connection seems very slow, could you please check it for me?" And the receptionist replied, "I apologize for the inconvenience, sir, I will reset the system right away, please try again in a few minutes." And John said, "Thank you very much, I appreciate your help." And after a short while the internet improved, and John felt grateful and slept peacefully that night. And the next morning he went down to the breakfast buffet and greeted the hostess with a smile, saying, "Good morning, may I have a table for one, please?" And the hostess guided him to a table by the window, and John enjoyed fresh fruits, croissants, eggs and juice. And when he wanted more coffee he raised his hand slightly and asked politely, "Excuse me, could I please have another cup of coffee?" And the waiter replied certainly sir and brought it quickly, and John thanked him warmly, and after breakfast he wanted to find out about the gym, so he went to the front desk and asked, "Good morning. Could you please tell me where the fitness center is located?" And the receptionist replied, "It is on the 5th floor, open 24 hours a day," and John thanked her and went to check it out, and later in the afternoon he booked a spa treatment by calling and saying, "Hello, could I please book a facial treatment for this evening?" And the spa receptionist replied, "Yes sir, we have availability at 7 p.m. Shall I reserve it for you?" And John said, "Yes please, thank you very much." And when he visited the spa in the evening, he was welcomed kindly, offered a glass of water, and guided to a treatment room where he enjoyed the relaxing service, and afterwards he said sincerely, "Thank you, that was excellent, I feel refreshed," and he returned to his room happy, but then noticed the shower pressure was weak, so once again he called the front desk politely saying, "Good evening, this is John Smith in room 1008. The shower water pressure seems very low. Could you please send someone to check it?" And the receptionist replied, "We are very sorry for the inconvenience, so we will send maintenance immediately." And within 10 minutes a technician came, inspected the shower, adjusted the valve, and asked, "Is it better now, sir?" And John replied, "Yes, thank you so much, I really appreciate your quick assistance." And the technician smiled and wished him a pleasant evening, and John realized that every time he spoke politely the staff responded with kindness and efficiency, and the next day he decided to ask about sightseeing tours, so he went to the concierge desk and said, "Good morning, could you please recommend some half-day tours?" And the concierge explained several options, showed him brochures, and offered to make a reservation, and John thanked him warmly and said, "That's very helpful, thank you, I will choose one tomorrow." And later when he returned from a short walk he called room service again saying, "Hello, could I please have a cappuccino delivered to room 1008? And within minutes the coffee arrived with a polite smile from the server, and John said, "Thank you very much, this is perfect." And after enjoying his coffee on the balcony, he reflected on how every stay gave him more practice in using polite and practical English sentences, and when his stay came to an end he packed his bags carefully, went down to the reception and said, "Good morning, I would like to check out please." And the receptionist asked, "Did you enjoy your stay, sir?" And John replied, "Yes, very much, the staff were excellent and everything was comfortable, thank you." And she smiled, completed the bill, asked if he had taken anything from the minibar, and John replied honestly, "Yes, just one chocolate bar," and she added it to the bill and then said, "Thank you for staying with us, sir, we hope to see you again soon." And John replied, "Thank you very much, I look forward to returning." And as he left the hotel he felt satisfied once again that polite language had made his stay smooth, pleasant and memorable, and he knew his journey would continue to other hotels where he would once again greet the receptionists, kindly request services, politely order food with gentle words, make small complaints calmly, and always remember to say thank you with sincerity. The next morning, Daniel woke up early, stretched his arms, and opened the curtains to let the golden sunlight flood into the room. He smiled at how peaceful the hotel felt and how the gentle sound of the city waking up outside made him feel connected to the world. He decided to call the reception to ask about the breakfast buffet timing. The receptionist answered politely and informed him that breakfast was served until 10:30 a.m. He thanked her warmly and got ready quickly. He walked down to the restaurant where the buffet was already busy with guests. He picked up a plate, served himself some fresh fruit, bread, and scrambled eggs, and sat by the window. He enjoyed his meal slowly, sipping orange juice, and watching families and business travelers talk cheerfully. After breakfast he asked one of the servers if he could have a cappuccino brought to his table. The server smiled and returned within minutes. Daniel thanked him sincerely, feeling grateful for the kind service. After finishing his coffee he decided to walk to the concierge desk to ask about city tours. The concierge greeted him with a friendly smile and handed him a brochure. Daniel asked about the most popular sightseeing options. The concierge explained about the city's landmarks, bus tours, and walking tours. Daniel listened carefully and decided to book an afternoon bus tour. He asked politely about the cost and payment method. The concierge assured him that the charge could be added to his room bill. Daniel agreed happily and thanked him again. Then he returned to his room to relax for a while before heading out. He lay down on the bed, turned on the television, and flipped through the channels, but soon decided he preferred some quiet time. He opened his notebook and wrote a few lines about his travel experience so far, reflecting on the smooth check-in, the comfortable bed, and the excellent breakfast. Later he received a call from the front desk confirming his bus tour pickup time. He appreciated their efficiency. When the time came, Daniel went to the lobby and waited near the entrance. A guide approached him, checked his booking, and led him to the tour bus. Daniel greeted the driver and found a window seat. During the tour he admired the beautiful architecture, listened to the guide's explanations, and took photographs. After returning to the hotel in the evening, he felt tired but satisfied. He walked back to his room and ordered room service for dinner. He asked politely for grilled chicken with vegetables and a bottle of mineral water. The staff confirmed the order and promised delivery in 30 minutes. Daniel took a shower and changed into comfortable clothes. Just as he was finishing, the room service attendant knocked and brought the food. Daniel thanked him and gave a small tip. He enjoyed the warm meal while watching a movie. After dinner he called housekeeping to request extra towels. The staff responded quickly, bringing them within 10 minutes. Daniel smiled and said he was impressed with their promptness. The next day he had a small issue with the air conditioning. The room felt a bit too cold, so he called the front desk and politely explained the situation. The staff member apologized and promised to send a technician. Within a short while a maintenance worker arrived, greeted Daniel, and adjusted the system. Daniel thanked him for the quick help. Later, Daniel visited the hotel spa and booked a massage. He was welcomed warmly, given a comfortable robe, and guided to a relaxing room. After the massage he felt refreshed and grateful for the excellent service. He walked back to his room, wrote a short message to his family about his experience, and smiled as he realized how much he was enjoying this hotel stay. In the evening he decided to dine at the hotel restaurant rather than order room service. He entered the restaurant and was shown to a table by a kind waiter. He looked through the menu and asked a few questions about the chef's special. The waiter explained politely and recommended the pasta. Daniel ordered it along with a glass of sparkling water. The food arrived beautifully presented, and Daniel enjoyed every bite. At the end he thanked the waiter for his recommendation and left a compliment for the chef. He returned to his room feeling happy. On the following day, Daniel had to print some documents for his work, so he called the reception and asked if there was a business center. The receptionist confirmed and guided him to the right floor. He went there, used the computer, and printed what he needed, then returned to his room. During the afternoon he had a small concern with the Wi-Fi connection. It was running a little slow, so he politely informed the front desk. They immediately reset the system and the problem was solved. Daniel was once again impressed with their attentiveness. Later he wanted to enjoy tea in his room, so he called the restaurant and requested a pot of hot tea with some cookies. The service arrived quickly and he spent the evening reading and sipping tea. The day passed calmly. As the week continued, Daniel used different hotel facilities, sometimes asking for directions, sometimes requesting fresh laundry, and always receiving polite and efficient responses from the staff. Whenever there was a tiny issue, such as a late delivery or a missing item, Daniel made sure to express his concern gently and the staff always solved it with an apology and a smile. This made him realize how important polite communication was in maintaining a positive atmosphere. Finally, the day of his departure arrived. Daniel packed his bags and called the reception to ask about the checkout process. They informed him of the timing and offered assistance with his luggage. When he came down to the lobby, the bellboy greeted him warmly and carried his bags. The receptionist checked his bill carefully, explained the charges, and asked if everything had been satisfactory. Daniel smiled and said he had a wonderful stay. He paid the bill, thanked the staff sincerely, and waved goodbye as he left the hotel, stepping into a taxi with fond memories of a week full of comfort, service, and learning how to express himself politely and effectively in every situation. He woke up early the next morning, stretched his arms, and walked to the window to pull the curtains aside. The view of the city sparkling in the morning sun made him feel excited for the day. He took a shower, dressed neatly, and went downstairs to the restaurant for breakfast. The host at the entrance greeted him warmly and asked if he would like a table by the window or near the buffet. He chose the window so he could enjoy the morning view. The waiter handed him a menu, but he decided to try the breakfast buffet, which had fresh bread, fruits, eggs, cereal, and hot coffee. As he filled his plate, he noticed other guests chatting happily, some families with children, and some business travelers reading newspapers. He returned to his table, enjoyed his food slowly, and then asked the waiter politely if he could bring an extra cup of tea. The waiter smiled and returned quickly with a steaming cup. After finishing his breakfast, he thanked the staff and returned to his room. Back in the room, he found a note from housekeeping that his room would be cleaned in an hour. He decided to rest for a while and then prepare for his meeting. When the cleaning staff arrived, he greeted them kindly, told them they could clean while he waited in the lounge. In the lounge, he found a quiet corner, ordered a cappuccino, and began reviewing his notes. The staff there checked on him politely to ask if he needed more sugar or extra milk. After a while, he returned to his room, which was now spotless and smelled fresh. The bed had been neatly made, towels replaced, and even a small chocolate had been left on the pillow. He smiled at the thoughtful gesture. Later in the afternoon, he realized he needed some laundry done, so he called the front desk to ask about the laundry service. The receptionist explained clearly how to fill the laundry form and where to place the clothes for pickup. He followed the instructions and placed his laundry bag near the door. A staff member arrived within minutes to collect it and assured him it would be returned the next day. In the evening, he felt like trying the hotel gym, so he went downstairs and asked the receptionist where it was located. She kindly directed him to the second floor and mentioned the gym was open 24 hours. He entered the gym and found it well equipped with treadmills, weights, and yoga mats. A trainer greeted him and offered to show him how to use some machines. He exercised for a while and then returned to his room, feeling refreshed. Later, he called room service to order dinner. He asked politely if they had any vegetarian dishes, and the staff suggested a vegetable curry with rice and a fresh salad. He placed the order and was told it would arrive in 30 minutes. Exactly on time, the food was delivered, neatly arranged on a tray with napkins and cutlery. The delivery person asked if everything was correct and wished him a pleasant meal. After finishing his dinner, he called room service again to thank them for the delicious food. Before going to bed, he decided to check the hotel Wi-Fi speed. As he had to send some work emails, he noticed the internet was slightly slow, so he called the front desk and explained politely. The receptionist apologized and offered to reset the connection. Within minutes, the internet improved and he was able to finish his work without issues. The next morning, he woke up early to go sightseeing, but before leaving, he stopped by the concierge desk to ask about the best places to visit nearby. The concierge listened carefully and suggested a city tour that included museums, a famous park, and a local market. He booked the tour directly through the hotel and was given a detailed map. Later, when he returned tired from sightseeing, he found that his laundry had been delivered, cleaned, and pressed neatly. He felt grateful for the efficiency of the service. As he relaxed, he noticed the air conditioner making a slight noise. Instead of getting annoyed, he called the front desk politely, explained the problem, and within 15 minutes a maintenance staff arrived, checked the unit, and fixed the issue quickly. He thanked the staff and was impressed by the hotel's fast response. That evening he visited the hotel's rooftop restaurant. The waiter showed him to a table with a beautiful night view of the city. Soft music played in the background. He ordered grilled fish with lemon sauce and enjoyed every bite. The staff frequently checked if he needed anything without disturbing him too much. He realized that good service always came with a balance of attention and respect for privacy. After dinner he returned to his room, took a shower, and called the front desk to schedule a wake-up call for 6 in the morning. The next day he received the call exactly on time, along with a cheerful good morning from the receptionist. He appreciated how reliable the service was. Throughout his stay he continued to explore different facilities, sometimes using the spa, sometimes relaxing in the lounge, and sometimes simply talking to the friendly staff. Each interaction taught him new polite expressions such as "Could you please help me with this? I would appreciate it if you could provide," or "I'm sorry to bother you but," and he realized that polite language made every situation smoother. As the days passed he grew comfortable in the hotel, greeting the staff by name and receiving warm smiles in return. Finally the day came for him to check out. He packed his bags carefully, made sure he had not left anything behind, and went to the front desk. The receptionist greeted him warmly, asked if he had enjoyed his stay, and quickly prepared his bill. He reviewed the charges, asked politely about one item, and the receptionist explained it clearly. Satisfied, he paid the bill, thanked the staff, and received a small farewell gift from the hotel. As he waited for his taxi, he reflected on how many useful English phrases he had practiced during his stay, from checking in, to asking about facilities, to making polite complaints, to checking out. He realized that staying in a hotel was not just about comfort but also about communication, and this experience had made him more confident in speaking. He smiled as he left, already planning to use his new skills in the next hotel he would visit. The next morning began with sunlight streaming softly into the room, and the traveler stretched before calling the front desk to ask about the breakfast buffet. The receptionist explained kindly that breakfast was available until 10, and the traveler decided to head downstairs. On the way they admired the fresh flowers in the lobby and greeted the staff with a polite smile. After breakfast they returned to the room and noticed that the towels had not been replaced, so they called housekeeping and asked gently if fresh towels could be delivered. The staff responded warmly and soon a polite attendant knocked at the door with a neat pile of towels. The traveler thanked them and appreciated the quick service. Later in the day they wanted to use the swimming pool but were unsure where it was located, so they stopped by the concierge desk and asked. The concierge explained with a friendly tone and even offered to walk the guest halfway to ensure they found it easily. At the pool the traveler enjoyed the calm water and relaxed for some time, but after a while they realized the water seemed slightly colder than expected. Instead of complaining harshly, they mentioned it politely to the lifeguard who assured them it would be checked. Feeling reassured, the traveler returned to their room and decided to order lunch. They picked up the phone and requested a sandwich, some soup, and a pot of tea. The staff confirmed the order and gave an estimated delivery time. When the food arrived it was served neatly on a tray with a smile, and the traveler tipped the staff with gratitude, enjoying the meal slowly while watching television. Later in the evening they noticed the air conditioning made a faint humming noise. It was not too disturbing but enough to be noticed, so they phoned the front desk and said in a calm voice that the unit was slightly noisy. Within half an hour an engineer arrived, checked the machine, and made a few adjustments. After which the noise stopped. The traveler thanked him sincerely, appreciating the efficiency. As the day turned to night they visited the hotel restaurant for dinner. A server greeted them with a friendly welcome and guided them to a table near the window. They ordered pasta and juice, And the service was attentive without being intrusive. The food tasted delicious and the traveler complimented the chef through the server. Back in the room they prepared for rest but realized they had forgotten to ask for an extra blanket. Once again they called housekeeping, and within minutes a clean blanket was brought with courtesy. The traveler thanked the staff and felt comfortable, drifting into peaceful sleep. The next morning the traveler decided to explore more facilities. They asked at the front desk about the spa services. The receptionist provided details about massages and treatments available. The traveler booked a simple massage appointment, later enjoying the relaxing environment and professional service. After the session they felt refreshed and expressed gratitude. Then they went to the business center to print some travel documents. A staff member patiently helped them with the printer, ensuring everything was correct, and the traveler once again noticed how polite and supportive everyone was. In the evening they invited a friend to join them for dinner at the hotel restaurant. Upon arrival they asked if the hotel could provide a larger table. The staff adjusted arrangements quickly and made sure the guests were comfortable. The dinner went smoothly and everyone enjoyed the hospitality. Later, when returning to the room, the traveler noticed a small leak from the bathroom tap. Instead of showing frustration, they called maintenance, described the issue clearly, and requested a repair. The technician came promptly and fixed it, leaving the traveler satisfied. As the days went by, the traveler continued to use different services like laundry, room cleaning, and the gym. Every time they interacted with staff they spoke politely, asked questions clearly, and listened to explanations with patience. One afternoon they ordered coffee but received tea instead. They smiled and explained gently that they had asked for coffee. The staff immediately apologized and replaced it. The traveler accepted the apology warmly and enjoyed the coffee without annoyance. On another day they needed directions to a nearby museum, so they asked the concierge, who provided a map and even called a taxi, showing how supportive hotel staff can be. The traveler realized that being polite and clear always helped in receiving good service. Towards the end of the stay they prepared to check out. They asked the front desk about the checkout time and luggage storage. The receptionist explained the procedure kindly. On the final day they packed carefully and requested a bellboy to help carry bags. The bellboy arrived quickly, handled the luggage carefully, and accompanied them to the lobby. At checkout the receptionist asked if the stay had been comfortable. The traveler mentioned that overall it was wonderful and that small issues were always solved quickly. They settled the bill politely and thanked the staff for their kindness. As they left the hotel they felt that the entire experience had been smooth because of clear communication and respectful behavior. Later they recommended the hotel to friends, saying that it was not just about the building but about how the staff treated guests. The memory of polite requests, quick responses, and helpful assistance stayed with the traveler, reminding them that at a hotel, good manners and patience create the best experiences. On future trips they continued to practice the same polite communication, remembering that saying please and thank you opens doors to comfort and kindness. And so the story of hotel stays continued with new journeys, new rooms, new staff, and new experiences. But always with the same approach of polite requests, calm complaints, and genuine gratitude that made every stay pleasant. Whether it was a small guest house or a grand hotel, the traveler always followed the same pattern, arriving with respect, staying with appreciation, and leaving with thanks. This way every hotel became not just a place to sleep but a place to connect through kind words, simple gestures, and thoughtful interactions. The journey went on from city to city, hotel to hotel, with stories of check-ins, room service, facilities, complaints, and checkouts repeating in different forms but always filled with the same polite tone, and each sentence of experience added to the traveler's learning, helping them grow not only in language but also in kindness. The next morning I woke up to the soft rays of sunlight peeking through the curtains. I stretched, yawned, and felt grateful for the comfortable bed. I walked toward the window, opened the curtains wider, and admired the view of the city slowly waking up. I could hear faint sounds of traffic, people walking to work, and birds chirping in the distance. I decided to make myself a cup of coffee using the small kettle provided in the room. I enjoyed the aroma of fresh coffee filling the space. I sat on the armchair near the window, sipping slowly, and planned my day. I thought of visiting the hotel's fitness center before breakfast. I changed into my workout clothes, tied my shoes, and made my way downstairs. The fitness center was bright and clean with a variety of machines. I walked on the treadmill for a while, lifted light weights, and then stretched. I liked how helpful the staff was in showing me how to use the equipment. After finishing my workout, I felt refreshed. I went back to my room to shower and get ready for breakfast. I called the front desk to ask if the breakfast buffet was still open. The receptionist kindly told me it was until 10:30 a.m. I thanked her, hung up, and quickly went downstairs. The breakfast area was cheerful with soft music and the smell of freshly baked bread. I picked a plate, served myself scrambled eggs, toast, fruit, and juice. I sat by the window and enjoyed my meal slowly. I noticed families, business travelers, and couples all enjoying their breakfasts too. The staff moved politely among the tables, offering coffee refills and clearing plates. I finished my food, thanked the waiter, and left with a smile. I decided to ask the concierge about sightseeing options nearby. He handed me a map, marked interesting spots, and suggested a guided tour. I appreciated his advice and booked the afternoon tour. I returned to my room to relax before going out. I checked my emails, made a few calls, and then lay down on the bed. The cool air conditioning and soft sheets made me almost fall asleep, but I knew I had to get ready. I put on comfortable clothes, grabbed my camera and wallet, and went down to the lobby. The tour bus was waiting outside. I joined other guests, and together we set off to explore the city. The guide spoke clearly, sharing history, culture, and stories. I enjoyed listening and taking pictures. I felt glad the hotel had suggested this experience. After hours of sightseeing, I returned, tired but happy. The doorman greeted me warmly as I walked in. I went straight to my room, took off my shoes, and lay on the bed. I thought of ordering something light for dinner. I picked up the phone and asked for a vegetable soup and bread. The person on the line spoke politely, confirmed my order, and told me it would arrive in 20 minutes. True to their word, a knock came at my door soon. I opened it and saw a friendly waiter holding a tray. He placed it carefully on the table, wished me a pleasant meal, and left. I thanked him and gave a small tip. I sat down, tasted the soup, and found it warm and comforting. I dipped the bread and enjoyed every bite. After dinner I watched a little television, scrolled through my phone, and finally prepared to sleep. I pulled the blanket over myself, turned off the lights, and drifted into a peaceful slumber. The next day brought more experiences. I woke early, feeling fresh, and decided to try the hotel spa. I called the reception to check availability. The receptionist reserved a massage session for me. I went down at the scheduled time. The spa smelled of lavender and soft music played in the background. The therapist greeted me gently, asked about my preferences, and then began the massage. I felt my tired muscles relax as her hands moved with skill. It was a calming and refreshing experience. After the session I thanked her and left feeling renewed. I stopped by the cafe for a light snack. The waiter suggested a sandwich and herbal tea. I enjoyed the recommendation and felt grateful for the helpfulness of the staff. Later I returned to my room, where housekeeping had neatly cleaned everything. Fresh towels were folded, the bed was perfectly made, and water bottles were placed on the desk. I appreciated the attention to detail. I wrote a small thank you note and left it for the staff. Then I thought of exploring the rooftop lounge that evening. When the time came, I went upstairs and found the lounge softly lit with a beautiful view of the skyline. Other guests were sitting at tables, sipping drinks, chatting, and enjoying the evening breeze. I ordered a fresh juice, sat near the edge, and admired the view. The staff checked on me politely but without disturbing my peace. It felt relaxing. I stayed there for almost an hour, then returned to my room, where I made a list of small things I might need. I noticed the bathroom slippers were missing, so I called the reception. They apologized and sent someone immediately. Within minutes a housekeeper knocked and handed me a fresh pair of slippers with a warm smile. I thanked them for the quick response. I realized how important it is to speak politely when making requests. As the staff always responded with kindness, I thought of how much I had learned during my stay, not only about the city but also about how to interact respectfully in a hotel. The experience was teaching me practical English phrases every day. I practiced sentences like "Could you please send me some extra towels?" or "Would it be possible to extend my stay for one more night?" I noticed that being polite always brought positive results. My days continued like this, filled with small requests, pleasant meals, helpful staff, and comfortable rest. Each interaction became a chance to practice clear and gentle English. I grew more confident with every word I spoke. I knew that when it was time to check out, I would leave with good memories. The next morning the traveler woke up feeling rested and refreshed. He stretched his arms and looked around the spacious room. He smiled as the sunlight streamed in through the curtains. He walked to the window and admired the city view. Then he picked up the phone and politely called reception to ask about breakfast options. The receptionist explained that breakfast could be enjoyed at the hotel restaurant or delivered directly to his room. He thanked her kindly and decided to try the restaurant. He quickly dressed and went downstairs. The restaurant was bright and welcoming. A waiter greeted him warmly and guided him to a table near the window. The traveler ordered a cup of coffee, scrambled eggs, toast, and fresh fruit. He enjoyed his meal and complimented the staff on their service. After finishing breakfast, he returned to the reception desk to ask about sightseeing tours offered by the hotel. The concierge provided brochures and patiently explained different packages. The traveler listened carefully and asked about timings, transport facilities, and costs. He booked a half-day city tour for the afternoon and thanked the concierge for the clear information. He then asked if the hotel had a fitness center and was guided to the third floor. He visited the gym and was pleased to see modern equipment, clean towels, and water bottles neatly arranged. He exercised for a short while, refreshed himself, and returned to his room. After a quick shower he lay down for a brief rest. Later he called housekeeping to request extra toiletries. The staff responded quickly and brought shampoo, conditioner, and lotion to his door. He expressed gratitude and admired the staff's politeness. Soon it was time for the city tour. The traveler went to the lobby and joined other guests waiting for the guide. The hotel arranged a comfortable bus, and the guide welcomed everyone warmly. The traveler enjoyed visiting monuments, markets, and cultural sites, taking photos and learning interesting facts. After the tour he returned to the hotel feeling satisfied but slightly tired. He went back to his room, called room service, and ordered a light dinner of soup and salad. When the food arrived he tasted it and found it delicious. He called again to give a compliment to the kitchen. The staff seemed happy to receive such positive feedback. After dinner he decided to write emails on his laptop. He noticed the internet connection was slightly weak. He politely called the front desk to report the issue. They quickly sent a technician who adjusted the router. Soon the connection became stable. He thanked the technician sincerely, feeling impressed by the efficiency. Later that night he went to bed, enjoying the comfort of the clean sheets and quiet surroundings. The next day he planned to try more facilities. He woke up early and decided to visit the swimming pool. He called the front desk to ask about pool timings. The staff politely explained the schedule and dress code. He put on his swimwear and went down. The pool area was beautiful, with lounge chairs and fresh towels. He swam for a while and then ordered a refreshing juice from the poolside bar. As he relaxed, he chatted politely with other guests, sharing travel stories. After swimming, he went back to his room and prepared to attend a business meeting in one of the hotel's conference rooms. He asked reception for directions and reached the hall on time. The staff ensured the projector, sound system, and seating arrangements were ready. The meeting went smoothly and the traveler appreciated the professional environment. After the meeting he returned to his room, but he noticed the air conditioner was making a little noise. He called maintenance politely, and within minutes a technician arrived, fixed the problem, and assured him that everything was working properly. He thanked the technician and continued his day. Later he explored the hotel's spa, asking politely about massage options. The staff explained the different treatments and recommended a relaxing therapy. He booked a session and enjoyed the calm atmosphere. After the spa visit he felt refreshed and happy. In the evening he met friends in the hotel restaurant. They ordered a variety of dishes, tasted the chef's special, and enjoyed a pleasant evening. When the bill arrived he asked politely about splitting the charges. The staff handled it smoothly. After dinner he requested a taxi to a nearby cultural show. The concierge arranged it quickly, the driver greeted him politely, and the traveler enjoyed the evening event. Later he returned to the hotel and thanked the doorman for the warm welcome. Before going to bed he ordered hot chocolate and biscuits from room service, which arrived promptly. He appreciated the small details that made the stay comfortable. The next morning he called reception to ask about late checkout. The receptionist explained the policy and kindly allowed an extra hour. He thanked them and began packing. He double-checked the closet, drawers, and bathroom to ensure nothing was left behind. Then he called for luggage assistance. The bellboy arrived quickly, carried the bags, and escorted him to the lobby. At the front desk he politely settled the bill, checked all charges carefully, and paid with his card. The staff thanked him for staying and asked about his experience. He expressed his satisfaction and gave positive feedback, mentioning that he would recommend the hotel to friends. The receptionist smiled warmly and wished him a safe journey. He then walked out, waved goodbye, and entered the taxi arranged by the hotel. During the ride to the airport he reflected on how polite communication and good service had made his stay memorable. He promised himself to use the same polite phrases and respectful tone in future travels. He realized that learning to ask questions kindly, request facilities politely, and make complaints respectfully had improved his confidence. He decided to continue practicing English in real-life situations whenever he traveled again. He smiled as the taxi approached the airport, thinking of the new places he would soon explore, and he felt grateful for the entire hotel experience that had taught him so much about communication, service, and kindness. Later, as he checked his boarding pass, he remembered small details like saying thank you, waiting patiently, and showing respect to staff, which made every interaction smoother. He knew that these skills were not only useful in hotels but in all aspects of daily life. He carried the memory of the comfortable room, the delicious meals, the quick service, and the warm hospitality as he stepped forward, feeling ready for his next adventure. The next morning I woke up to the sound of birds outside my window. The room felt bright and fresh, and I stretched slowly before stepping out of bed. I walked to the curtains and pulled them open to let the warm sunlight flow in. I admired the garden view for a moment, then turned to prepare myself for breakfast. I called the reception to ask about the breakfast buffet timings. The receptionist politely informed me that breakfast was served until 10:30. so I quickly got ready and went down to the restaurant. The smell of freshly baked bread and hot coffee filled the air, the staff welcomed me with smiles, and I picked a comfortable seat near the window. I enjoyed toast, fruit, eggs, and a cup of tea. The waiter came over and asked if everything was fine. I thanked him and told him the food was delicious. After finishing, I returned to my room feeling satisfied. I decided to take a shower before planning the day. The shower water was pleasantly warm, and the bathroom was well stocked. With toiletries, I felt refreshed, dressed in casual clothes, and then called the concierge to ask about nearby attractions. The concierge explained kindly about museums, parks, and local shops. I listened carefully, made notes, and chose to visit a cultural center that was walking distance from the hotel. Before leaving, I asked the concierge if the hotel offered guided tours. He smiled and handed me a brochure, saying I could book one anytime. I thanked him and went out for my walk. The streets outside were lively with people, but I felt calm knowing I had a comfortable hotel room to return to. After an hour of exploring, I returned to the lobby and noticed a display of brochures about spa services. I decided to ask the front desk about massage options. The staff member explained the different packages available and recommended a relaxing session in the evening. I booked it and felt excited. I then went back to my room and called housekeeping to request extra towels. The staff knocked politely on the door after a few minutes and delivered them with a warm smile. I expressed my gratitude and tipped them. Later, I lay on the bed reading a book, feeling grateful for the smooth service. In the afternoon, I grew hungry and decided to try room service. I picked up the phone and ordered a grilled sandwich with juice. The staff confirmed the order and told me it would arrive in 20 minutes. Right on time, there was a knock at the door. The waiter wheeled in a tray with my food neatly arranged. He asked if I needed anything else. I smiled and said no, and he wished me a pleasant meal. I sat by the window, enjoying the simple but tasty food. After eating, I placed the tray outside the room as instructed. A few minutes later, I saw staff quietly collect it without disturbing me. In the evening, I went to the spa appointment. The atmosphere was calm with soft music and pleasant scents. The therapist greeted me politely and explained the process. The massage was relaxing and released all the tension from my journey. I thanked the therapist after the session and returned to my room feeling lighter. As night fell, I called the reception to ask if I could have a wake-up call for the next morning at 7. The staff confirmed politely. I also asked if I could book a taxi to the airport for the day after tomorrow, and they immediately arranged it. I felt reassured by their efficiency. Later that night, I noticed the air conditioner was making a slight noise. Instead of being upset, I called maintenance politely. The staff member arrived within 10 minutes, checked the unit, and fixed it quickly. He apologized for the inconvenience, but I told him I appreciated his quick service. He smiled and left. I realized how important it was to communicate politely in such situations. I went to bed peacefully. The next morning, the phone rang exactly at 7 for my wake-up call. I appreciated the punctuality. I got ready and went down to breakfast again. This time I tried pancakes and juice. The waiter greeted me warmly, remembering my name, which made me feel special. After breakfast, I sat in the lobby lounge to read the newspaper. A staff member offered me tea, which I accepted with gratitude. While sitting there, I overheard other guests checking in, and I noticed how the reception staff patiently explained the facilities. I admired their professionalism. Later, I asked the reception if they could print some documents for me. They agreed without hesitation, and within minutes handed them to me neatly arranged. I thanked them sincerely. In the afternoon, I joined a half-day city tour arranged by the hotel. The guide was friendly and knowledgeable, and the transport was comfortable. After returning, I decided to have dinner at the hotel restaurant. The hostess guided me to a table, handed me the menu, and a waiter promptly came to take my order. I chose pasta with lemonade. The food arrived hot and beautifully presented. The waiter checked if everything was fine, and I said it was excellent. After finishing, I signed the bill to be charged to my room. The whole experience was smooth and pleasant. Back in the room, I thought about how much I was learning by interacting politely with the staff in different situations. The next morning, I went to the gym inside the hotel. The equipment was modern and clean, and a trainer greeted me, offering guidance. After exercising, I felt energized and went back to my room. Later, I called the reception to ask about laundry service. They explained the process clearly, and I sent my clothes with the housekeeping staff who came promptly. They returned them freshly ironed the next day. I felt happy with the care they took. In the evening, I invited a friend to meet me in the lobby cafe. The staff welcomed us, and we enjoyed coffee together. My friend praised the hotel, and I felt proud of choosing it. The following day, I decided to try the swimming pool. I called to ask about timings, and the receptionist explained politely. When I reached the pool, the attendant handed me towels and explained the safety rules. The water was clean and inviting. I enjoyed swimming and relaxing by the poolside chairs. Later, I thanked the attendant before leaving. In the evening, I returned to my room and noticed a complimentary fruit basket placed on the table. It had a kind note from the hotel manager, thanking me for staying. This thoughtful gesture touched me deeply. I felt valued as a guest. The next day, I needed help booking tickets for a nearby event, so I approached the concierge, who made the arrangements quickly. I thanked him warmly. He smiled and said it was his pleasure. When I returned in the evening after the event, the doorman greeted me by name and opened the door. Small gestures like this made the hotel experience memorable. Over the following days, I continued to enjoy the facilities, ordering room service, requesting directions, and politely raising small concerns whenever needed. Each time the staff responded with respect and efficiency, which showed me the importance of clear and polite communication. As my stay was coming to an end, I went to the reception to confirm my checkout time. The staff explained the procedure kindly. I also asked about storing my luggage after checkout, and they assured me it would be safe. On my final morning, I packed my bags and called the bellboy. He came promptly, greeted me with a smile, and carried my luggage carefully. At the front desk, the receptionist checked my bill in detail, explained every charge, and asked if everything during my stay had been satisfactory. I smiled and told her that the stay had been wonderful. She thanked me and handed me a feedback form, which I filled with positive comments. Finally, I stepped outside. The doorman opened the taxi door, and I thanked him sincerely before leaving. As the car drove away, I looked back at the hotel with gratitude for the smooth, comfortable, and polite experiences that had made my journey memorable. The next morning began quietly. The guest stretched lazily in bed and thought about the many little comforts of the hotel. He noticed how the curtains let in just enough sunlight to brighten the room without being harsh. He picked up the phone and called the front desk to ask if breakfast could be delivered a little earlier than usual. The receptionist answered politely and assured him that it would be no problem. Soon a knock came at the door and a staff member rolled in a cart with steaming coffee, fresh juice, warm croissants, scrambled eggs, and a small vase with flowers to add charm. The guest thanked the staff warmly and gave a small tip. He enjoyed the meal slowly while watching television and reading the complimentary newspaper. After breakfast he decided to explore the fitness center. At the reception he asked for directions and the concierge kindly guided him. The gym was well equipped with treadmills, weights, and yoga mats. There were fresh towels neatly stacked and water bottles available for free. He exercised for an hour and felt refreshed. Later he went to the spa and booked a massage. The therapist welcomed him with a smile, explained the treatment, and created a peaceful atmosphere with soothing music and scented candles. The massage was relaxing and he felt all his travel fatigue vanish. After the session he thanked the therapist and signed the bill to his room. He then visited the business center to check his emails. The computers were modern and the internet was fast. A staff member even helped him print some important documents. Feeling satisfied, he decided to take a walk around the hotel garden. The flowers were colorful, the fountains gentle, and there were benches under the trees where guests could sit quietly. He noticed a family enjoying an ice cream, a couple taking photos, and an elderly man reading a book. It gave the hotel a homely and lively atmosphere. Later he returned to his room and called room service to order lunch. He asked for grilled fish with vegetables, soup, and mineral water. The staff repeated the order carefully and promised quick delivery. Within 30 minutes his lunch arrived neatly arranged. He enjoyed every bite and called back to say thank you. In the afternoon he had a small issue with the air conditioning. The room felt warmer than usual. Instead of complaining harshly, he politely called maintenance. Within minutes a technician arrived, greeted him kindly, checked the system, and fixed the problem efficiently. The guest appreciated the quick service and said how impressed he was. In the evening he wanted to swim, so he visited the pool area. The pool was clean, the water clear, and lifeguards were on duty to ensure safety. He swam for a while and then relaxed on a sunbed, sipping fresh juice from the poolside bar. Later he returned to his room, took a shower, and dressed for dinner. At the hotel restaurant he was welcomed by the hostess and shown to a table near the window. With a lovely view, the waiter introduced the special dishes of the day, and he decided to try pasta with seafood, along with a glass of white wine. The food was delicious, the service attentive, and the background music soft and calming. He complimented the chef when the meal ended. After dinner he walked back to the lobby, where live piano music was being played. Guests were gathered around enjoying the melodies. Some were chatting, some sipping coffee, and others simply relaxing. He sat there for a while, enjoying the music and atmosphere, then returned to his room, wrote a few notes in his travel diary, and finally went to bed. The next morning he woke early, ordered breakfast again, and planned a day trip outside the hotel. He asked the concierge for suggestions. The concierge provided maps, brochures, and even arranged a taxi for him. The taxi arrived on time, and the driver greeted him cheerfully. Throughout the day he explored local attractions, tasted traditional food, and shopped for souvenirs. In the evening he returned tired but happy. When he reached the hotel, the doorman greeted him with a smile, the bellboy helped with the shopping bags, and the receptionist asked if everything was fine. He replied positively and praised the hotel staff for their kindness. Later, in his room, he realized the minibar had not been refilled. He called housekeeping politely, and within minutes a staff member arrived, apologized for the delay, and restocked everything neatly. He thanked them warmly. Later that night he wanted tea, so he dialed room service. The staff delivered it quickly along with some complimentary biscuits. He enjoyed the tea while watching the city lights from his window. Slowly he felt sleepy. He prepared for bed, turned off the lights, and thought how comfortable and cared for he felt in the hotel. The following days continued with small variations of similar experiences. He would explore outside in the mornings, return in the afternoons, and enjoy the services of the hotel in the evenings. Every staff member remembered his preferences, like the kind of pillow he liked, the way he preferred his coffee, and even his choice of fruit. This attention to detail made his stay memorable. One evening he attended a cultural show organized in the banquet hall. The hotel had invited local musicians and dancers. The performance was lively, colorful, and entertaining. Guests clapped joyfully and enjoyed the cultural taste of the place. After the show, light refreshments were served. and he mingled with other travelers, sharing stories and laughter. He realized how hotels could create not just comfort but also connections. Another day he decided to try the laundry service. He packed a few clothes and called housekeeping. They collected the clothes, gave him a receipt, and returned everything perfectly cleaned and ironed the next morning. He felt impressed by the efficiency. Once he needed to request a late checkout because his flight was in the evening. He went to the reception and explained politely. The receptionist checked availability and kindly granted the request without extra charges. He felt relieved and grateful. On the last day of his stay, he carefully packed his bags, checked all drawers and cupboards to ensure nothing was left behind. He called the bellboy to help carry the luggage, then approached the reception to settle the bill. The receptionist went through the list of charges, explained each one clearly, and asked if he had enjoyed the stay. He smiled, praised the hotel highly, and paid the bill. The staff thanked him for staying and wished him safe travels. The bellboy helped place the luggage in the taxi. The doorman opened the door with a cheerful goodbye, and as the taxi pulled away he looked back with satisfaction, thinking that the hotel had given him not just a room but a full experience of care, comfort, and hospitality. He promised himself that if he ever returned to the city he would surely stay at the same hotel again. The morning sunlight streamed softly through the curtains of the hotel room as the traveler stretched and looked around with appreciation, feeling that every little detail of the stay mattered, from the neatness of the bed to the quiet hum of the air conditioning, and he decided to call the front desk to ask about breakfast options. The voice on the other end cheerfully explained that breakfast was served both in the dining area and also available as room service, and he smiled, choosing to experience it in the room today for comfort. So he placed an order for scrambled eggs, toast, orange juice, and a pot of fresh coffee. And while waiting he took a warm shower, enjoying the good water pressure and the soft towels provided, feeling refreshed and ready for the day. Then the knock came and the tray was delivered by a polite staff member who greeted with a warm good morning and placed everything neatly on the table, and the traveler thanked sincerely, tipping lightly as a gesture of appreciation. He ate slowly, savoring the taste, and afterwards called housekeeping to request that the room be cleaned while he stepped out, and he left the hotel, greeted by the doorman with a friendly smile, and he walked to explore nearby shops, noticing the hotel location was convenient for everything. After a few hours he returned, and the lobby was busy with other guests checking in, asking questions, or simply relaxing in the lounge. He went to the reception desk to confirm if his laundry had been collected, and the receptionist reassured him that it was being processed and would be returned by evening. Then he headed to his room and found it spotless, with fresh sheets and neatly arranged amenities, and he felt pleased at the efficiency. Later he thought of ordering a snack, so he picked up the phone and asked room service for a club sandwich and some tea, and once again the service was prompt and polite, reminding him how important communication skills were in such environments. Later in the evening he discovered that the Wi-Fi connection was suddenly slow, and instead of complaining harshly, he called the front desk and politely explained that the internet was not working well, and the staff immediately offered to reset the router and even suggested using the business center if urgent. Within minutes the problem was solved, and he thanked them for the quick support, feeling that being polite always worked better. During dinner at the hotel restaurant he interacted with the waiter, asking about local specialties, and the waiter patiently described different dishes, helping him choose something flavorful. After the meal he gave feedback that the service was excellent and the food was delicious. The manager even came to the table to thank him for his kind words, and he realized that small gestures of appreciation created warm connections. Later that night he called reception again, this time to ask for an extra pillow, and within 10 minutes housekeeping knocked on the door and handed it over with a smile. The traveler once again expressed gratitude, recognizing how efficiently the hotel staff worked behind the scenes. The following day he decided to use the hotel gym, so he asked for directions from the concierge, who not only showed him the way but also explained the timings and available equipment, and the traveler found the place well maintained, exercising for a while before relaxing at the spa, where the staff guided him politely through the different treatment options. He enjoyed a massage and afterwards felt completely relaxed. When he returned to the lobby, he noticed another guest raising a complaint about air conditioning in their room, and he observed how calmly and professionally the receptionist handled it, promising immediate assistance, which made him admire the training and patience of the staff. Later, when he needed to print some travel documents, he went to the business center and asked for help. The staff member there guided him gently through the printer settings and ensured everything was done correctly, which saved him a lot of stress. In the evening, he decided to sit at the lounge and sip some coffee, where he casually spoke with another traveler, exchanging experiences about hotel stays in different countries, and he realized how hotels were not just about rooms but about human interactions, the comfort of being treated kindly, and the importance of learning polite language to handle situations. When the time for checkout finally came, he approached the reception, greeted the staff warmly, and asked for the bill. They reviewed everything carefully and explained the charges clearly. He thanked them for the transparency and handed over the payment. Then he asked if they could call a taxi for him, and they immediately arranged it, even helping carry his luggage to the entrance. He waved goodbye to the doorman, who wished him safe travels, and as the car moved away he reflected on how the entire experience at the hotel was shaped not only by comfort but by communication, respect, and politeness. He thought about how each sentence he spoke, whether asking for facilities, ordering room service, or making a complaint, had an impact on the outcome, and he promised himself to continue practicing polite expressions, because they created harmony wherever he traveled. And as the taxi drove him towards his next destination, he carried not just memories of a comfortable stay but also valuable lessons in communication that would help him in every future journey. The next morning began with a knock at the door as the housekeeping team arrived with fresh towels and water bottles. The guest smiled, thanked them politely, and asked if they could also bring some extra hangers for his clothes. The staff agreed and within minutes returned with what he needed. He hung up his shirts neatly and then went downstairs for breakfast. The dining area was filled with the aroma of freshly baked bread, hot coffee, and warm pastries. He chose a table near the window and enjoyed watching the city wake up while sipping his tea. The waiter came over and asked if everything was fine. He nodded and requested some butter and jam. The waiter quickly brought them and wished him a pleasant meal. After breakfast he returned to his room, organized his luggage, and made a list of places he wanted to visit. He called the concierge and asked for advice on the best way to reach the museum. The concierge smiled and explained the bus routes, also offering to book a taxi if he preferred. He decided to take the bus to feel more like a local. Before leaving, he stopped at the reception to ask if the hotel could arrange laundry service. The receptionist assured him it could be picked up in the evening and delivered by the next day. Feeling comfortable with everything taken care of, he left for sightseeing. When he returned in the afternoon, he was a little tired and asked for some tea to be sent to his room. Within 10 minutes a tray arrived with hot tea, sugar, and biscuits. He felt grateful and left a small tip for the staff. Later in the evening he noticed that the bathroom sink was draining slowly. He called the front desk and politely explained the issue. They immediately sent maintenance. The plumber fixed it quickly and apologized for the inconvenience. The guest thanked him warmly and appreciated the quick response. After a long day he ordered dinner in the room, choosing soup, bread, and grilled chicken. The food arrived on time. Neatly arranged with cutlery and napkins, He enjoyed the meal and watched a little television. Before sleeping he checked his emails and set an alarm for the next day. The following morning he found a newspaper slipped under his door. He read it while having coffee and smiled at the thought of such thoughtful service. Then he called housekeeping to ask for an iron and ironing board, which were delivered quickly. He ironed his shirt and dressed neatly before heading to a business meeting. When he returned, he noticed a welcome card from the manager placed on his desk, thanking him for choosing the hotel. It made him feel valued. In the evening he went to the hotel gym, exercised lightly, and later relaxed in the lobby where soft music was playing. A staff member asked if he would like a glass of water. He accepted gratefully. Later he returned to his room and requested some extra pillows, which were delivered with a friendly smile. He slept comfortably. The next day he visited the spa. In the hotel, where he enjoyed a massage and felt completely refreshed. After that he ordered some light lunch and relaxed on the balcony of his room. He noticed how attentive the staff were, always greeting him with polite words and warm smiles. In the evening he had a small complaint about the air conditioning being a little too cold. He called the reception and explained. Within minutes a technician adjusted the settings and ensured it was comfortable. The guest thanked them for their quick support. During dinner he chose to eat at the hotel restaurant. The waiter recommended a special dish of the day. He tried it and found it delicious. He complimented the chef before leaving. On his way back to the room he saw the manager again, who asked if his stay was going well. The guest expressed his satisfaction and gratitude. The manager seemed genuinely happy. Later that night he needed a wake-up call, so he rang the reception and requested one for 6:30 in the morning, right on time. The phone rang the next day and he woke up without any delay. He appreciated the reliability of the service. After freshening up he prepared for another day of sightseeing. Before leaving he asked the receptionist if they could arrange a packed breakfast since he had to leave early. The hotel kindly prepared sandwiches, fruits, and a juice box, neatly packed for him to carry. He felt very grateful for their thoughtfulness. Throughout his stay he kept noticing how even the smallest requests were handled with care, like when he asked for more drinking water. The staff always delivered quickly with a smile. He realized that staying at a hotel was not just about the room but also about the people who worked hard to make the experience pleasant. One afternoon while resting, he accidentally spilled tea on the bedsheet. Feeling worried, he called housekeeping and explained. They reassured him that it was not a problem and quickly replaced it. This polite handling of the situation impressed him. The next morning he decided to explore the hotel garden, where he found benches, flowers, and a calm atmosphere. He sat for a while enjoying the peace, then returned to his room and ordered breakfast. When the tray arrived it had fresh juice, toast, eggs, and coffee. Everything was neatly arranged, and the staff member wished him a nice day. He smiled and thanked them warmly. The following evening he wanted to try something different, so he asked the concierge if the hotel could recommend nearby restaurants. The concierge suggested a few popular places and even booked a table for him. Later when he came back he found a note in his room saying, "Hope you enjoyed your evening." He felt cared for. Another day he had a small issue with the TV remote not working. He informed the front desk, and within minutes a staff member replaced the batteries. Apologizing for the inconvenience, the guest appreciated the efficiency. The day before checkout he went to the reception to confirm his departure time and asked about the checkout process. They explained it clearly and offered to arrange a taxi for him. On his final morning he packed his bags, called reception to request help with luggage, and a bellboy arrived promptly. They carried his bags with a smile and escorted him to the lobby. At the desk he settled the bill, thanked everyone for their hospitality, and expressed how much he enjoyed his stay. The staff thanked him for choosing their hotel and wished him safe travels. As he left, he felt grateful for all the experiences, from the friendly smiles to the quick solutions. and promised himself that he would return again in the future. The next morning, I woke up early because I wanted to make the most of my day. I stretched, opened the curtains, and enjoyed the warm sunlight entering my room. I decided to call the reception and ask if breakfast was still being served in the dining hall. The receptionist politely told me that breakfast would be available for another hour. I quickly freshened up, put on casual clothes, and went downstairs. The dining area smelled of fresh coffee, toast, and fruits. I greeted the waiter and asked if I could sit by the window. He smiled and guided me to a nice table. I ordered scrambled eggs, bread, and orange juice. As I ate, I noticed other guests enjoying their meals and chatting quietly. The atmosphere felt calm and welcoming. After finishing breakfast, I asked the waiter if I could take an extra cup of coffee to my room. He kindly agreed and brought me a takeaway cup. I thanked him and returned to my room. I placed the coffee on the table, packed a small bag with my essentials, and decided to explore the city. Before leaving, I called the concierge to ask about nearby tourist attractions. He recommended a museum, a park, and a shopping street. I noted them down and left the hotel. When I returned in the afternoon, I was a little tired. I called room service and asked for a sandwich and some lemonade. The staff delivered it quickly and politely asked if I needed anything else. I appreciated their helpfulness and gave a small tip. After resting, I realized I needed an iron to press my clothes. I called housekeeping and requested one. Within minutes, a staff member brought an iron and ironing board. I thanked him and he reminded me to call again when I wanted them collected. Later in the evening, I went downstairs to the lobby and asked the receptionist if they had a map of the city. She handed me a detailed map and circled a few popular spots. I thanked her and walked around the lobby to admire the decor. I saw some guests checking in and others waiting for taxis. The lobby felt lively and busy. When I returned to my room, I noticed the air conditioning was making a strange noise. I called maintenance politely and explained the issue. They assured me they would send someone immediately. Within 10 minutes, a technician arrived, greeted me politely, and checked the machine. He fixed the problem and asked me to confirm if the sound was gone. I thanked him and he left with a smile. Later, I ordered dinner from the hotel restaurant. I chose pasta with garlic bread and a dessert. The food arrived hot and delicious. I enjoyed the meal while watching television. After dinner, I called the reception to ask about wake-up call services. They assured me they could call my room at any time I requested. I asked for a wake-up call at 6:30 a.m. They confirmed it politely. The next morning, the phone rang exactly on time. I appreciated their punctuality and got ready for another busy day. I went downstairs to the reception and asked if the hotel had a gym. The receptionist explained that the gym was located on the second floor. I visited the gym and found it well equipped. I did some light exercises and returned to my room. After taking a shower, I decided to try the hotel swimming pool. I called the reception to ask if towels were provided there. They assured me that towels were available near the pool. I put on my swimwear and went to the pool. The water was clean and refreshing. I swam for a while, then relaxed on a chair with a cold drink. Later, when I returned to my room, I noticed the cleaning staff had already cleaned and arranged everything neatly. The bed was made perfectly, the bathroom was spotless, and fresh towels were placed. I felt very satisfied with the housekeeping service. In the evening, I wanted to invite a friend for dinner at the hotel restaurant. I called the reception to ask if I needed to make a reservation. They recommended reserving a table because the restaurant gets busy. I booked a table for two. When my friend arrived, I met him in the lobby and we went to the restaurant together. The staff greeted us warmly and showed us to our table. We ordered grilled fish, salad, and desserts. The food was excellent, and we enjoyed our time together. After dinner, I asked the waiter for the bill. I paid by card and thanked them for the good service. When I returned to my room, I noticed a complimentary fruit basket had been placed on the table. I was pleasantly surprised and felt valued as a guest. The next morning, I called the laundry service because I needed some clothes washed and ironed. They sent someone to collect the clothes. I asked when they would be returned, and the staff assured me they would be ready by evening. Later in the day, I received the clothes perfectly cleaned and neatly pressed. I thanked the staff and gave a small tip. During the afternoon, I wanted to use the business center for printing some documents. I asked the receptionist about it. She guided me to a quiet room with computers and a printer. I logged in, printed my documents, and completed my work peacefully. I realized the hotel offered many useful facilities, so I asked the reception for a brochure listing all services. They gave me one, and I discovered options like spa treatments, guided tours, and conference halls. In the evening, I decided to try the spa. I booked a massage session and felt relaxed afterward. The staff were professional and friendly. When I returned to my room, I ordered soup and bread for a light dinner. After eating, I watched some television and wrote in my travel journal. Before sleeping, I called the front desk to ask about late checkout. They explained that I could stay until 2 p.m. instead of noon. I appreciated their flexibility. The next day, when I was ready to check out, I called the bellboy to help with my luggage. He arrived quickly, carried my bags, and escorted me to the lobby. At the reception, the staff asked if I had used the minibar. I confirmed I had only taken 1 bottle of water. They added it to the bill. I paid the bill politely and thanked them for their service. They wished me a safe journey. I left the hotel feeling satisfied and grateful for the hospitality. Later, when I recommended the hotel to a friend, I mentioned how the staff always handled requests and complaints politely, how room service was efficient, and how the overall experience was comfortable and enjoyable. My friend appreciated the detailed feedback and said they would consider staying there too. I realized that staying in a hotel is not only about the room, but also about how staff interact with guests, how complaints are handled, and how services are provided. I felt that this hotel had given me a complete and memorable experience, and as I traveled to my next destination, I carried those pleasant memories with me, thinking about how small gestures of politeness, quick service, and attention to detail can make a stay truly wonderful. The manager called the guest to check if everything was fine in the room. The guest appreciated this thoughtful gesture and assured them that he was satisfied. Later he requested an extra set of pillows for better comfort. The housekeeping staff promptly delivered them with a smile. He thanked them politely and left a tip. At night he ordered a simple dinner of soup and bread. The meal was delivered quickly and was served warm. He enjoyed it and complimented the chef through a note. The next morning he visited the reception to ask about laundry service. The receptionist explained the process and handed him a form. He filled it out and sent his clothes for cleaning. The clothes were returned neatly folded and fresh. He admired the efficiency of the hotel. Later he asked the concierge about local sightseeing tours. The concierge provided brochures and explained different packages. The guest selected a city tour and booked it through the hotel. The next day the bus picked him up directly from the lobby. He enjoyed the guided tour and returned in the evening with many memories. Back at the hotel he requested a wake-up call for early morning. The call was delivered right on time. He felt grateful for such punctuality. On another evening he asked for directions to the nearest park. The staff provided a clear map and even marked walking routes. He followed it and had a peaceful walk. Later he wanted to host a small meeting with colleagues. He approached the front desk to book a conference room. The staff arranged it and provided water, notepads, and pens. The meeting went smoothly and his colleagues praised the arrangements. After the meeting he invited them to dinner in the hotel restaurant. They enjoyed the meal and the friendly service. The waiter patiently explained menu items and recommended local specialties. Everyone enjoyed the food and atmosphere. The guest later thanked the staff for making the dinner successful. On another day, he noticed the television remote was not working. He called housekeeping politely. They replaced the batteries immediately. He appreciated the quick fix and continued watching his show. During one afternoon he felt unwell and asked for a doctor. The hotel quickly arranged for medical assistance. The doctor arrived and checked him carefully. Medicine was prescribed and the hotel staff bought it from the nearby pharmacy. He was touched by their concern. The next day he felt much better and personally thanked the staff. Later he asked about extending his stay by 2 more days. The reception checked availability and confirmed it happily. He was glad that the hotel could accommodate his request. One morning he requested breakfast in bed. The tray arrived with juice, bread, eggs, and fruit. Everything was neatly arranged and tasted fresh. He took photos of the presentation and shared them with his family. In the evening he asked for help printing a few documents. The business center staff assisted him and ensured everything was printed correctly. He was impressed with the professionalism. During his stay he often asked about transportation options. The staff arranged taxis and explained fares. One evening he wanted to go to the theater. They booked tickets and arranged a car. He enjoyed the performance and returned late at night. The night duty staff still greeted him warmly. On another day he complained politely that the shower water was not very hot. Maintenance came immediately and adjusted the system. The issue was solved quickly. He was pleased with their attentiveness. Later he asked for an iron and ironing board. They were delivered promptly. He pressed his clothes and returned the items. One morning he used the gym. He found it clean and well equipped. Staff offered towels and water bottles. He exercised happily and returned refreshed. On another day he used the swimming pool. A lifeguard was present and offered guidance. He relaxed on a pool chair afterward. In the evening he asked for a taxi to the airport to pick up a friend. The concierge arranged it smoothly. When he returned with his friend, the hotel staff greeted them both politely. His friend was impressed with the warm welcome. Later they ordered coffee and cake from room service. It was delivered quickly with a smile. They enjoyed chatting while eating. One afternoon he needed to send a parcel. The reception guided him to the courier service desk. Inside the hotel, the parcel was packed and sent safely. He felt relieved. During the weekend the hotel organized a cultural event. The guest attended and enjoyed live music and traditional food. He praised the hotel for providing such experiences. Another day he used the spa. The therapist was professional and explained the treatment. He felt relaxed afterward. In the evening he noticed the Wi-Fi was slow. He informed the reception politely. The IT team fixed it quickly. He continued his work without further problems. The next morning he asked for an early breakfast as he had a meeting. The kitchen prepared it and served it before regular hours. He was grateful for their flexibility. On his last evening he asked for help with packing delicate items. Housekeeping provided wrapping materials and helped carefully. He thanked them for their kindness. Finally it was time to check out. He approached the reception and returned the key card. The bill was presented clearly and he checked it. Everything was accurate. He paid and complimented the staff for excellent service. The receptionist asked about his stay and he shared positive feedback. He also filled a feedback form mentioning the helpful staff and comfortable facilities. The staff wished him a safe journey and invited him to return. He smiled and promised to come back. As he left the lobby he felt truly satisfied with his experience. He thought about how smoothly everything had gone. From check-in to room service to resolving small complaints, each moment had been handled with care. He carried good memories and shared them with his family and friends. Later he wrote an online review praising the staff by name. The hotel management replied warmly thanking him. He felt happy to contribute. The entire experience taught him the value of polite communication, patience, and appreciation in making travel smoother. He realized that when a guest treats staff kindly, they respond with even more warmth. He promised himself that in every hotel he visits he will follow the same approach. His journey at this hotel ended, but the lessons and memories would remain with him forever. And as he moved toward his next destination, he felt confident that every future stay could be just as pleasant when kindness and good communication guide the way. The next morning, the traveler woke up early, feeling well rested after a peaceful night, and he decided to have a slow breakfast in his room. So he picked up the phone and ordered a pot of coffee, a basket of warm bread rolls, some butter, and a plate of fresh fruit. And when the tray arrived, he thanked the server warmly, poured himself a cup, and enjoyed the simple meal while gazing at the view from his window. Then after finishing breakfast, he decided to take a short walk around the hotel garden, where the flowers were blooming, the paths were neatly arranged, and benches were placed for guests to sit and relax. He sat down for a while, listening to the birds singing and feeling calm. Then he returned inside and passed the reception desk where the staff smiled at him and asked kindly if everything was going well, to which he replied that the service had been excellent and the stay comfortable, and this polite exchange made both sides feel happy. Then he thought about exploring more facilities in the hotel, so he visited the business center, where computers, printers, and comfortable chairs were available, and he imagined how useful it would be for someone traveling for work. After that he walked to the gym area, where treadmills, weights, and exercise bikes stood ready for guests, and a staff member explained politely how to use the equipment. Then he thanked them and promised he would try later. Next he entered the spa section, where a friendly receptionist showed him a menu of massages, facials, and relaxation therapies. And although he did not book immediately, he felt pleased to know the option was available. Later in the afternoon, he went back to his room and noticed that housekeeping had already cleaned, the bed was neat, fresh towels were placed, and a small chocolate lay on the pillow as a thoughtful touch. So he smiled and appreciated the detail. Then he took a shower, changed his clothes, and thought of ordering lunch. This time he asked for grilled chicken with vegetables, a small salad, and mineral water, and when it arrived he thanked the staff again, checked the tray carefully, and began to eat slowly, enjoying the flavors. After finishing the meal he wrote a few notes in his journal about the pleasant experiences so far, mentioning especially the politeness of the hotel staff and the comfort of the facilities. Then he lay down for a short nap, waking later in the evening feeling refreshed. At that moment, he wanted to ask about nearby attractions, so he went to the concierge desk where a young man greeted him cheerfully and handed him brochures about museums, cultural centers, and walking tours. The traveler listened carefully and asked a few questions about transportation and timing, and the concierge explained everything in detail, providing maps and even offering to arrange a taxi. The traveler thanked him and decided he would visit one of the recommended sites the following day. Then he returned to his room and thought about dinner, so he looked at the room service menu again, but this time he felt like going down to the hotel restaurant, where he was welcomed warmly by the hostess and guided to a comfortable table. The atmosphere was elegant yet relaxed, with soft music playing and gentle lighting. He ordered a soup, a main dish of fish, and a small dessert. While sipping water and observing the people around, the waiter was attentive, refilling his glass politely and asking if everything was to his satisfaction. He nodded and expressed his gratitude, enjoying the meal thoroughly. After dinner he returned to his room, thanked the staff on the way, and once inside he read a little, drank some tea, and prepared for another night of peaceful sleep. The following day began with bright sunshine streaming through the curtains, and the traveler felt eager to continue his stay, so he made plans for sightseeing. But before leaving he went to reception to ask for directions and confirm his transport. The receptionist smiled and provided all the information he needed, even writing down the local phrases that might help when speaking to taxi drivers, and the traveler found this gesture very thoughtful. He left the hotel for a few hours, visited a museum, took photographs, and returned in the afternoon, feeling both tired and fulfilled. When he came back, the doorman welcomed him politely and asked if he had enjoyed his trip. He said yes and thanked him. Then he walked to the elevator, went to his room, and found everything arranged neatly again. Later in the evening he decided to order a pot of tea and some snacks, which arrived quickly, and he relaxed while watching television. After a while he noticed that one of the channels was not working properly, so he called reception and explained politely. The staff apologized and assured him they would send someone to fix it. Soon a technician arrived, checked the connection, adjusted the settings, and the channel worked again. The traveler thanked him warmly, and the technician smiled and wished him a good evening. This small incident reminded the traveler of how important polite communication is in such situations, because even when something goes wrong, calm and kind words bring quick and positive results. The rest of the evening passed peacefully, and he slept with contentment. On the next morning he had breakfast in the restaurant, greeting the same waiter from the night before who recognized him and exchanged a few friendly words. After eating, he returned to his room to pack some of his belongings because his stay was nearing its end, but he still had one more day, so he decided to spend it enjoying the hotel facilities. He went to the poolside, where he relaxed on a chair with a cold drink, reading a magazine and watching other guests swim. The pool staff provided towels, umbrellas, and drinks politely, always with a smile, which made the atmosphere welcoming. Then he dipped into the pool, swam a little, and returned to his chair feeling refreshed. After some time he went back inside, ordered a light lunch, and later in the afternoon booked a short massage session at the spa, where the therapist explained everything calmly and ensured he was comfortable. By evening he felt deeply relaxed, and he decided to write more notes in his journal about how staying at the hotel had been a wonderful experience, filled with comfort, good service, and many opportunities to practice polite communication. Then he thought about the next day, when he would have to check out, so he arranged his luggage neatly and prepared the items for easy packing. The night passed quietly, and in the morning he went to reception with his bags, greeted the staff warmly, and explained that he was ready to check out. The receptionist smiled, reviewed the bill carefully, explained each item politely, and asked if he had enjoyed his stay. The traveler replied sincerely that everything had been excellent and he would recommend the hotel to his friends. Then he paid the bill, signed the receipt, and thanked the staff once again for their hospitality. As he waited for his taxi, the doorman carried his luggage outside, placed it carefully in the car, and wished him a safe journey. The traveler shook his hand and expressed his gratitude. Then he entered the taxi and looked back at the hotel with fond memories, thinking about the kindness he had received and the comfort he had experienced. He knew that polite communication, patience, and appreciation made every part of his stay smoother, from check-in to room service, from small complaints to check-out. And he promised himself that in future travels he would continue to treat hotel staff with respect, because such respect always returned as kindness. And with that thought he leaned back in the taxi, ready for the next chapter of his journey, carrying with him not only souvenirs and photographs, but also the valuable practice of natural English phrases and polite expressions that had shaped his experience so far. Thank you so much everyone for staying with me till the end. I truly appreciate your time and support. Remember, learning English is not just about words, it's about confidence, practice, and believing in yourself. Never stop learning, never stop growing, because every step you take brings you closer to success. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel Progressive English Learning. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. and please like, share, and comment to show your love and support. Let's keep learning together, and let's keep progressing every single day.